Elena arranged to meet Brett at 1 after a late breakfast with Peter and Maggie on their back porch under partly sunny skies. She put on fitted gray sweats and an Adidas hoodie. She left her blonde hair loose. Then she headed out to check out the laser. Brett was in his driveway wiping down the laser again. He had pulled it out of his garage yesterday and hosed down the boat and all the gear. He had spread the sail out on the lawn for inspection. Then he cleaned it and repacked it in the bag. A white SUV pulled into his drive. A blonde-haired girl hopped out and headed toward him. "Brett?" she asked while she approached.
"Yes."
He held out his hand.
"Brett Jorgensen."
"Elena Kovalenko," she said with a bright smile and shook his hand. Brett was 6 foot and medium build. Athletic, she thought, by his broad shoulders. He pointed a finger at the pretty blonde with green eyes.
"Eastern Europe."
"Ukrainian."
I dated a Ukrainian girl for a while. Well, she was American-born. Her parents were Ukrainian."
She nodded. "So that didn't work out?"
"Long story there,"
Brett replied after a thoughtful pause. "I'm sorry," he said, raising a hand toward him. "None of my business."
"It's all right,"
Brett replied. He pointed to his laser sailboat on the trailer.
"I haven't had it out since last year. Blew out a knee playing soccer, so I've been laid up."
"I'm sorry to hear that. Did you have surgery?" He had brown hair and brown eyes. She found him attractive. He had a pleasant smile. She had a good sense about him.
"I did. It all went well, they told me."
He then redirected the conversation back to the boat.
"Everything is here. The sail is only a couple of years old."
He reached into the boat.
"I have this fancy inflatable left vest if you need one. Otherwise, do you have any questions?"
She walked around the boat feeling the polished green hull and inspecting the lines and equipment. It appeared to be well maintained. "You keep it in good shape," she commented. "I've never seen a green one before. They're always red or white."
"Yeah, just my thing, I guess."
"How long have you had it?" Elena asked while looking over the boat.
2 years, but it's 7 years old now. I had just moved back to Seattle and had a larger boat before. I missed sailing and came across this. I had never raced before, just cruised, but I really like racing.
Yes, it's a thinking man's sport. That's why I love it. Where did you move from?
D.C., Washington, D.C., the government.
Yes, I know. We do learn of places like that in Ukraine.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply.
I don't take things personally. How much for the weekend? Brett shrugged his shoulders.
I don't know. What do you think? I've never really thought about it. Have you rented before?
200, she offered directly. Brett shrugged his shoulders, surprised at the direct offer. Brett extended his hand and she shook it.
Don't beat around the bush, do you?
Make a decision and go visit.
How long have you been in Seattle?
Just a few days, she said with a slight shake of her head. Down here for a project for maybe 6 months, perhaps longer.
From Ukraine?
Initially, yes, but Victoria the past few years.
Oh, great place. Love it there. Brett told her with an expression of good memories. You've never raced down at Shilsol then?
Brett asked with a quick change of subject. She shook her head. No.
Well, I can tell you, watch the current. If the tide's going out, stay in by shore, going against it, and...
I am oceanographer by profession, she said, interrupting him.
Oh, so, you get all that.
I already downloaded chart, current tables, and tide tables. I'll study them this week.
All right, well, sorry.
You need to stop apologizing, Elena replied quickly. She pointed a finger at him. That's the first thing I'm going to teach you.
Being your student wouldn't be a bad gig,
Brett replied smartly. Elena stood up straight, folded her arms, and looked at him. She smiled and shook her head. You're quite character, Brett. I don't mind little sarcasm. She dropped her arms. Just don't push it.
Okay, well, if you need any more useless advice, give me a call.
She laughed. I do appreciate advice. She pointed at the trailer. What size hitch ball do I need?
Oh, that would be 7/8.
Okay, I have hitch, but not that size ball. I'll run out and get one.
No, I have one for you.
He turned and went into the garage. He came back out with the ball and wrench. They packed up the boat, hitched up the trailer while sharing small talk. She looked at him when they finished. Thank you again. I know this must seem kind of weird, renting boat to some stranger.
Yeah, well, it's not worth that much, so he shrugged his shoulders. Not much risk, and I'm a good reader of bad people. You're not one of those.
I guess I'll take that as compliment, Alina replied with a smile, as long as I am not in middle either. Matt chuckled.
Well, I could do better than that.
Then he stopped.
What middle?
She smiled. Perhaps conversation for another time.